you were in your bowl game now, I think what'd you have? 3 catches? 4 catches?
4 catches, 72 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So, like, what was that like when you caught that? Like, when that ball's in the air, what is going through your mind right now?
Felt like everything went silent. It was just like it was straight out of a movie, and like I just started running. I think me and my teammate did our handshake.
Y'all walked off like this. It's good to see you, bro. I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it. Tell everybody who you are because, I mean, I've known you for years, but go ahead.
Jakobi Lane. I go to USC. I play wide receiver. I'm going to be a sophomore this upcoming year, and I used to play for my major, sports broadcasting and journalism. Okay. I actually am we just had a lady come in, and she's with Fox, and she gave us a whole rundown of what she does for Fox, and sports broadcasting will be nice because I can just sit down and talk in front of the camera. Sit down and talk about sports all day.
Exactly. So man, it's just good to have you, dude. I'm gonna tell you, I'm excited when you reached out to me. My wife is always like, you got to reach out to the kids you used to coach. And I'm like, they celebrities now. They got too much going on. I'm just Coach Russell. And she's like, all right, you're missing out. So when you hit me up and you were like, can I come on? I was like, well, you know what I said.
100%.
So I was like excited, man. But dude, I remember when we first started playing, like I was just telling the story, like when I saw you and your mom, it was at the movies. And I just remember being like, that little boy looked like he could play. And I went over to your mom, and I had Deuce with me. And, she was just kind of looking like who's this dude walking up to me about my son? And when she was like, yeah, absolutely. And I remember y'all went up to there, and you got recruited. You got poached when you went up there to sign up Kenny King. But, like, that was great, man. Like, I look at all y'all boys that played with me, man, and it was just – I'm so proud of y'all right now. Like, I see y'all playing, and I see the great things that you're doing, and I'm like, I had like a opportunity in their life. I had an opportunity to introduce them to football at such a young age. So, like, when you were in high school, man, like, we're going to start, like, with your high school days, bro, because you were balling in high school, man. Like, take us back to that. Like, what was that like, man, when you were that dude like that?
In high school, it wasn't always fun in high school because my freshman and sophomore year, I was on freshman football of course, freshman year, but later in the season, a lot of people got pulled up to varsity, and I sadly was not one of those kids, even though I excelled in my freshman year. And then my sophomore year, I went on, and a lot of my friends were on varsity, but I sadly wasn't, and I was on JV. And then it was always kind of like I had a chip on my shoulder being from Red Mountain, and I felt like all the coaches didn't see what I had in me, and so going into my junior year, I think I played 7-on-7. That's where I started to kind of pick up a little buzz. And then going into my junior year is when I started to really excel and started to go viral for a couple of catches. But
more than a couple, bro. You being real modest right now. It's more than just everything I see you going up, housing over cats, looking down, spinning the ball on them.
Yeah, I definitely had a ball in high school, and I definitely enjoyed that time with my teammates. But I think the overall thing was like realizing, like, because of course everybody gets offers at an early age, and the recruiting process wasn't easy for me. It took a long time, but I think like staying down and realizing what I came from and just loving football in the game and enjoying every Friday night and taking that not for granted is what really made me enjoy high school. So. And then my senior year, before the season started, I committed to USC.
Who did you have now? I looked you up now. I had to look you up. So you had offers from like Texas A&M, Oregon, Auburn. I feel like I'm missing, obviously, USC. There's somebody else in there. Kansas State.
Everywhere.
Yeah, like when you're getting all these offers, I guess the first part is, like, how was that? Did that help your play? And then, two, how did you make your final decision?
Yeah, you having Deuce, you know how it is with the coaches always calling our phone. So it's almost like having a bunch of girlfriends that are like hounding your phone, like, what are you doing? How are you? Like, what's going on? So as much of a blessing it is to have all these schools come at you and want you, it turns into a little dilemma when it becomes like, all right, like all of these offers, now I have to pick one school to spend the rest of my time at because going into every situation in the recruiting process, you don't want to think of transferring. You want to think of spending your whole time there and where you want to graduate. So I think although getting all the offers was nice, the one thing I always had in the back of my mind was like, wow, I really have to choose one school. And going on those visits, it's like after you leave, you're like, yeah, I'm coming to the school,
Really?
like to every school. So it became like when I weighed out my decisions, like where do I want to live at the end of the day? Like where do I see myself in the room with the other receivers?
Yeah.
Like how am I going to mold with the coaches? And I'd be lying if I said it was an easy choice, and it wasn't. But I think I made a great choice and a well thought out choice.
Yeah. And that's how it is. I mean, it was the same thing for us. It was like Deuce was a freshman. You know, he was balling, but you know, nobody really knew who he was. So he kind of did the same thing. Same road you traveled. It's like very under the radar. Even his junior year, you know, it was a COVID year. He had 13 and a half sacks, a little bit of buzz. Nobody really knew him. And U of A was like the first team to offer him a scholarship. And, you know, I said, hey, man, you got to keep that in mind. They're the first ones to really notice you. And you know how it goes. Once you get that first one, then everybody else kind of like, well, I guess he's good.
Down.
Yeah, and it trickles down from there. So when Deuce made that decision, my thing for him was, I just said, man, what do you want to go to school for? You know, do you want to go to school and just win championships and not really play, or do you want to play? And he was like, I want to play. So I was like, dude, you got to go to U of A. You know, because at the time they were going through a transition. They weren't that good. I was like, here's your best opportunity to get on the film. Plus, I knew what he could do. I had been coaching him.
Exactly.
So when he made that decision, it was just like, I'm going to U of A, and he never looked back. So, you know, the same thing with you.
100%.
Once you knew that, like once you committed to USC, was it easier now? Well, was all the pressure off of you? Did you feel even more pressure?
I felt like being from Arizona and like there not being a lot of kids besides like this core group of like it was like from 21 I want to say to 23 that like it was really like a powerhouse of kids that like really were nasty and stuff. I think it was more like I have to carry that weight of like, all right, now I have to like show like I'm not just like a commit just because. I have to like put on the USC brand now and like kind of rep that and like still come to work every day and be a dog rather than think like, all right, USC is like, I made it. Like once I get to USC, then the work starts. I think it was like, all right, now I have to rep the brand and show my best. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, so when you went to USC, because I know for us, when I dropped him off, and it's a short ride down to Tucson, you know, hour and a half. Whole ride, he's just quiet. You could hear a pin drop in the car. He fell asleep, woke up, and he told me afterwards, he was like, Dad, I was so scared. Were you scared that first year
100%.
Being away from home, and now you got to do all this adult stuff?
Right. Yeah. I think it was like, wow, like you think of like, man, I cannot wait to be like a college football player, but like you don't really realize like when you are there by yourself and like growing up at home and like loving my mom and like the people around me and like being surrounded by everybody in Arizona, it's like such a family aspect, and then boom, before you know it, it's like you're by yourself and it's like, all right, now I have to really like do what I said I was gonna do rather than like just talk about it. And I just think like, although it was a dream come true, those first couple of months and probably like that first year was like really like just nerve wracking. Like, all right, like I made it, but like this is time to like really pick it up and like put one foot in front of the other and keep going rather than just become complacent.
So when you got there, what was the hardest part? Was it being away from home and having to be on your own? Was it what was the demands of football, or was it school?
100%. I think a combination of everything, and then realizing like you have to keep it going and like build a routine. I have the worst ADHD and ADD, so it's like I'll start to do one thing and then before you know it, I'll start to do the next and I'll notice something and then I'll start cleaning or something. But I have a great team around me at USC, and the surrounding people within the academics and in football, they all are tenfold great people, and I think the people around you help you thrive in that aspect. So I think as far as like being able to manage everything, I became so much better because at first being a freshman, it's like, man, like what am I doing? Like we have a thing called Teamworks, and it's like kind of like a schedule, but it's like it only notifies you 15 minutes before, so it's like you gotta plan ahead. And like I think like being a young kid and like realizing like, man, this is like my job. I have to be here and at this time, or else like I'm on accountability, or I'm getting talked to by coaches, and it turns into it turns into a dilemma when you're always a constant problem.
They'll get rid of you quick.
They will, and being able to realize that just makes you want to really like take everything serious, and like you learn that from the beginning at SC. For us, it's just taking it serious and being where you're supposed to, and then everything else usually falls.
So did you redshirt or did you play as a true freshman?
I actually played as a true freshman, and I played 5 games. And the last game of the regular season, UCLA, they were like, "Do you want to play or you want to sit out and redshirt?" And I was like, "Or am I gonna play? Am I in the game plan?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "So why would I not play?" So I blew my red shirt on 1 game. But
I was just going to say 5 games.
Exactly.
Come on. But it's funny that you even brought that up because Deuce and I, we beefed about that a lot. Like, I was like, I know you can play, man. I know you got the skill set, but dude, you're 190 pounds. Like, he was 190 pounds soaking wet, and he got down there, and every time I talked to him, he was like, "Dad, I don't think I'm on red shirt. I'm moving up the depth chart." And I was just like, "Nah, man, don't do that. You need a year to get bigger, stronger, learn everything." But it was like as soon as he got on that field, the first game he played, the starter got hurt. So it's against San Diego State. And he pretty much played the entire game, and I knew he was done after that. I knew he was not going to sit on the bench. He goes, "Dad, I don't care if it's just special teams, if it's just 3 or 4 plays." He goes, "I've been out there, and I know what it's like, so I'm sorry." And I was like, we fought about that for a long time.
100%.
But once that 5th game came around, it was just like, you know what, man, it's done now. So I'm just going to get on your side. But it picked up as it went on. Now, I don't want to jump too far ahead, so I'm just gonna go to your sophomore year. But what you learned from your freshman to your sophomore year, what was the difference in that? Because obviously, coming from high school to freshman in college, you don't know anything. Right. You think you know, but then you really find out. Right. How much easier was it for you to make that transition and that workload? How much easier was that from your freshman to sophomore year?
I think like having the spring and being able to realize man, like I can mold into my shell and start playing football, and like I understand our offense. Like I don't have to think about like, man, like this play I have this route, and now like I need to know these steps. It's on this play I know what I have now. How is the DB playing me? What is the safety doing? How are people dropping? So being able to like just be comfortable and turn it into just football again, like
you're not thinking.
Exactly.
You just line up, you
Second
hear the call,
nature.
you like, I know exactly what to do.
Exactly.
Oh my God. So okay. I don't know much about offense. So all I know is that you guys walk up to the line and you may get a call in the huddle, but that call could be like 3 or 4 different plays based on what the defense gives you, right? Like how many routes off of one play, how many possible routes can you have on 100%. Any given play?
I think our offense is so flexible, and I won't give out.
I was going to say, don't know that we're getting close to the season, so we don't need that.
But it's just so crazy because, like, with hot routes and being able to be in such a complex air raid offense and, like, have such a diverse quarterback and being able to do so many things as far as flexibility in the offense. I can line up in the slot. I can line up outside and just have so many different route concepts based on coverages or what Coach Riley sees, and just being able to not necessarily be like a crash dummy, but like a complex like action figure in his whole scheme is just crazy because he's a genius, and like just being able to like finally understand more of the coverages in the real football side of things, and kind of take it more to the next level rather than just like, all right, man, I'm gonna go try and moss this dude. It's more of like, all right, like if I'm not open, like how can I clear myself out so my man under me is wide open. So it's more of a more appreciating the game rather than trying to score touchdowns.
Right.
For myself
you every time the ball doesn't have to come to you. It's like you're understanding, like, if I don't get the ball, then I got to continue to run my route because it's going to open it up for somebody else. No,
exactly.
That's great, man. Exactly. I love that. So what was it like playing with Caleb? So I know you played, 2 years with him?
1 year.
You played your freshman year.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was that like playing with him? Because we played USC, obviously, twice. Like, what was that like getting passes from him and, like, being in practice with him and how he goes about his day?
Yeah, it's crazy because everybody on the outside thinks he's such, like, a diva and like such an emotional person.
Yeah.
Like being there every day with him, it's like, man, like that just shows you how much the media just like consumes everything and like it takes everything for stuff. Because it's like, man, if you would spend like 2 days with him, you would realize he's a great guy and he like respects the game and he loves everything. And for me, it was really like I have a great friendship with him and I still talk to him every day. So he just taught me a lot about football and like how to really be a diehard football fan and like realize what it takes every day to go in and like love the game and appreciate the fact that if you want this for yourself and like you aspire to do something like special, it takes something to do that. And like he really showed that and like pushed that for everybody and not just me, but like I think for me it was more like seeing that firsthand and being able to have a relationship with him that was just built over a short time, and I feel like I've known him forever. And like
That's good.
he's one of those people that like he really cares about people, and you can tell if he's invested in you, he'll take you all the way and he won't give up on you. So he's really a great person.
So he's a good quarterback, 100%. A good leader.
100%.
That's awesome because you do hear so much about him in the media. You know, it's like you said, and I sometimes I just can't stand them because they don't know what they're talking about. You know, you may hear something like the whole fingernail thing is, or when he cried, it was just like, you know what, man, it's too often that these guys are expected to be grown men and they're still developing and they're still learning. So
100%.
Yeah, it's like don't talk about somebody if you don't really know them. So now, when you were in your bowl game, now what'd you have? What'd you have? 3 catches? 4 catches?
4. I think I had 4 catches for I think 72 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, but you had 2 touchdowns though. So was that what was that? It was your first touchdown? Those first 2 touchdowns?
Yes, they were.
So when you scored the first one, let me make sure I got it right because I want to say I saw it. I wanted you caught one over a guy and you got up and you spun the ball. You were standing right next to him, which was a little dirty. You know, I'm a defensive guy. I don't like to see you guys celebrate on us like that. So, like, what was that like when you caught that? Like, when that ball's in the air and you're in the end zone and you know it's coming, like, what is going through your mind right now?
You know, it was crazy because, like, it was really, like that was, like, the time, like, I woke up that morning and I was like, if there's any day, like, I'm going to score a touchdown, it's today. I really, 100%. And it was just, like, seeing the ball in the air, and it was a little bit underthrown, but, like, I was like, I don't care. I'm going to get it. And, like, I, like, kind of cradle catched it just to make sure I got it. But it was – No, go ahead. It was just like as soon as I like caught it and I like secured it, I turned down and I spun the ball and it felt like everything went silent. It was just like it was straight out of a movie, and like I just started running. I think me and my teammate did our handshake.
Y'all walked up like this. I saw that.
we for sure made a scene, but like everybody on the team that week that whole bowl prep was so amazing because it really like. We knew we had to like come together and really like set a new standard and come together as far as like, all right, we had a not so good season, but we're gonna wipe that off and like this is the start to something new and this is gonna be great if we wanted to. And I think everybody banded together. So like coming to the sideline, everybody was just so like ecstatic to like have that momentum and there's everything going into the second half because I scored with I think it was like 27 seconds left going into the second half. So it was just like all the momentum we had going in the locker room and like just being able to like know like all right man, like all it takes is like one momentum shift and this all can stop. So we just need to keep going and like pushing, and it was just a great game. And then I think when I had like a third down conversion and it was a little bit behind me, but I just remember like it felt like everything was slowed down and it was like high school football again, just because like the element I was in was just like this is football. It's not like some like high level game that like
it is a high level game.
It's a high level game, but like it's not like I haven't played it all my life. I think that's some things I take for granted sometimes is like written like not really taking into consideration like man like. This is a blessing to be able to do this at such a high level and like just like respecting the fact that like I can do all this as long as I take it serious and like take it slow. So
now I know it's been a short time, but is there a DB that you look forward to playing or somebody like next year or even that you've already played where you're like, yeah, I like going up against him. He's good.
I don't think I'm like circling anybody, but I think like some situations like playing Michigan will be fun in at their house and being able to like be in those away game situations and have like a huge crowd on us on third down and just being able to like man like this is what it's all about. This is what you live for. So just respecting the fact that it's like I'm sure we'll play great opponents, but I'm sure I'll bring my A game for every single one of them and it'll be a great game. So I'm just looking forward to it and having a great season.
Now, I was joking with you, Washington. We're going to see y'all because when we were in Tucson, man, that game, dude, I was going nuts when we played y'all at the Coliseum. And I'm just like, double overtime. Was it triple overtime?
Yeah, it was triple overtime.
I'm like, what are we doing? Just go for the win. And Deuce had a good game that game, man. Did you see him?
Uh-huh.
Okay, y'all linked up?
100%.
Okay, I didn't know. He never talks about it, man.
Yeah.
He never talks about, I saw Jakobi or this person. I'm like, because I'm always, one of the things that I try to instill in him is like, enjoy it when you're out there. Like, you see the guys that you play high school ball with, peewee ball with, man, take a time to, like, exchange jerseys and to talk to each other because, dude, this before you know it'll be over with. You'll be looking back like, man, I wish I had done this. I wish I had got pictures here. So that's why because I know how it is when you're in the moment. You don't think about that stuff.
Right.
You're just like, hey, what's up, Jack? Hey, all right, I'm out of
Exactly.
here. And it's like, dude, this thing is going to pass by so
quick.
quick. Now, it's funny because we were talking and, I was talking earlier about how it's almost like I'm intimidated to reach out to you guys. But when you were coming in here, you actually said, like, I have an agent. Like, I need somebody to be a buffer because you being in L.A., there's just so many people that want a piece of you. And, like, how does that get on your nerves?
Not so much get on my nerves, but it really takes into consideration, like, wow, what am I, like, representing for myself and, like, how am I being perceived by people? And, like, I need to make sure, like, my brand and my image is up to par to be able to, like have these opportunities and like keep having opportunities down the line. So I think rather than having an agent to like get a bunch of deals, it's about like building my brand and realizing like everything I like represent will be with me for the rest of my life as long as I live. So I just think
makes me feel so good, man, because this is what I preach to Deuce all the time,
100%.
man. It's like everything that you post, everything that you say, how you carry yourself, it's like people are always watching and they're watching for one, do I want to give this kid money or do I not want to give him money? I mean, it comes down just as simple as that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what's it like in LA?
LA is enjoyable. I think like being in the because I'm at the facility a majority of the time, but like you of course go to dinner at some of the high end places. You're
like
in,
where? Where's your favorite restaurant?
I'd either say like Javier's. It's like this Mexican restaurant, or Delilah. One of our good friends, John Teresa, owns it, so we go there a lot. They have tremendous food.
Really, like, is it steak, seafood, or just everything?
The whole nine. The crab cakes, the lobster rolls, the pigs in a blanket,
Ooh,
steak, everything.
Good.
They have nice salmon. But I just think like being able to be in that environment and you see like famous people, like you see the Kardashians all the time, like you see Leonardo DiCaprio, everybody. So it's just like being able to like be in that environment. It's like you at first when I first got to SC and like hanging out with Caleb, like you'll see like so many people. It's like, wow, like I'm in LA, but like as it goes on, you realize like these people are at the same place I am, and it's like they're regular people and they have to walk and brush their teeth and spit the same water out I do. So it's not that much of a difference, and you kind of like realize like, man, like I can live the same lifestyle if I want to. It's just
That's
like
crazy. Like I look at y'all, man. Like for me, it's amazing because my wife is always like, you did the same thing, and I'm like, I get it, but now I'm getting called Unc now, so I'm the old dude. That's what everybody's calling me. So I'm like, okay. So when I watch y'all and I see this, like the NIL deals and everything that's coming y'all guys' way, I'm just like, hell yeah, man, good for them because, you get people out there. Oh, well, they don't need, man, y'all crazy. You know how much money these schools make? I can go back. Let's talk about when I was in school. We didn't get nothing. We had the bare minimum. If you got $100 from somebody, you had to worry about losing your scholarship. Right. So I love it, man. I just love it. And being in a place like L.A., man, I know for me, I would have got caught up real quick, real fast because my first year, even at Chapel Hill, I was a party. I love to go out, coming from a military background, military family. My mom was do this. As soon as I broke free, I was like, yeah.
Just a little bit of freedom was all you needed.
All I needed was just to get loose just a little bit. I was like a dog out of the yard. I was gone. You got to come chase me down. Yeah. But I learned from that, though. I had some shortcomings and I fell short on some things. So it made me really go back and reevaluate, like, dude, what are you looking for? What do you want out of life? And is it just a party and maybe been a has-been, or are you looking for it to be the best you can be? And I think, messing up a little bit in school and having to, I was that guy the coaches were like, man, Russell, we love your play, but we don't know if you're going to be here or not. And that just really at the thought or prospect of losing all that, it was like, dude, you need to tighten up and get your stuff together. So, I mean, to hear you talk about that and to get there, and they have so much in place for y'all to be successful, that it's just amazing to me. I love watching it, and I love the opportunity to be like, man, I helped coach that kid.
Literally,
that kid played under me, and now they're big superstars. So now going into next year, like, where are you as far as like depth chart? Like, where do you feel you are? Where are you? Are you going to be a starter? Are you kind of coming off the bench? Like, do you have any? Do you know yet?
Right now, I'm with the ones. So,
Okay.
But we all rotate throughout the season, and I'm sure it'll be flexible.
Don't
we
say
can,
that, bro. You want to be on the field
100%,
you want to be out there every snap.
But I'm sure I'll line up in the slot a whole bunch. I'm sure I'll be on the outside a whole lot. I think our offense is just so diverse that we can come at anybody anyway. So.
What's your favorite spot to play? The slot, or you like to play up on the line?
In the red zone, I think in the slot more because it's more of an opportunity to go inside or out. But I think like more in the middle of the field, I like to play the outside and just be able to use my length to get close to people and then break off inside or fake inside and go out. So it's just it
depending on where you are, huh?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
See, for us, you're a defensive lineman. You don't like. I know. I'd rather be in a pass rush. Well, let me reel that back in. When I was playing, I was more of a run stopper. So I knew first and second down, that was my bread and butter. Third down, that wasn't me, man. No, I'm serious, man. Pass rush is a skill, bro.
Right.
It is a skill. It's just like catching that ball, man.
Yeah.
Some people have it. You can watch guys catch that ball, and you're just like, they make it look so easy.
Right.
You watch guys pass rush, and they just make it look so easy, and it's like, it's not really that easy. It's just like, that is a difficult skill. So if that's something that you can do, I mean, you can make a ton of money out there now. I'm going to ask you this. With the rule changes, do you like the new rule changes, how they can't hit y'all like that anymore? All the crazy hits you used to take?
I don't think it's like – I think it like takes a little bit of the fun out of football.
Really?
Like of course I'm tenfold thankful that it's like protecting
I was going to
us.
say that.
But like I think like it's just like everybody lives for some of those hits that you see, and like although they're
offensive guys, y'all like getting hit and getting up, and I'm glad they took it out, Jakobi. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm glad, but like I think for the game itself.
Yeah, for the game.
Yeah, for as a viewer of football.
Yeah,
rather than a player.
But most people, they've never been hit like that, and they're like, oh, it's soft. I'm like, dude, you get out there and get hit like that. That's why there's so many concussions. That's why guys have these problems when they're done playing football. So I love the fact that, a guy needs to catch the ball and he needs to prepare for the hit, or you're not hitting him upside his head. Because I've just seen it, when I went college and pros, I've seen guys get level and they're just laying there sleeping. You're just like, damn, that's your teammate.
Yeah,
and you're seeing that. So I know people get upset, and sometimes it is frustrating, but I'm like, I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
I love the new rule changes.
That side of it is the side that gets super scary about football. You see somebody shaking up on the ground for a long time, or like the DeMar Hamlin situation, like things like that just takes a little bit of the fun out of it. So like as far as like the protection of the game, it's 10 steps in the right direction for sure.
That's good. Now, I'm going to ask you this. What's your favorite route? Now, that may not be as simple as I think it is, but what's your favorite route? Like, maybe your top 3 routes you like to run. That when you hear it called in the huddle, you like, ooh, yeah.
Fade route for sure.
Really?
Just a goal line fade route, or like a goal line slant, because it's like just like me being a bigger receiver, it's just like I always have the opportunity to catch it above people and just or like running a slant. It's just like you expect somebody to go outside and then you break off inside, and being able to like shake them off and just catch it right there and trot into the end zone is just
trotting into the end zone.
It's just a different type of feeling. So just I'd say a fade or a slant or a post.
Okay. Yeah, I like the fade. I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. I love when when offenses get down inside that red zone and they throw them balls. I mean, I'm a defensive guy. Don't ever get me wrong. I'm always gonna root for defense, but I love when I see you guys go up in the air, one-handed grabs, and it just makes the game so exciting. Like I watched that and I'm like, yo, that was badass.
I think the crazy part is like even on the goal line, like all the releases and stuff, it kind of turns into like a little bit of like pass rushing. Like you're trying to like get out in front of the DB and like swipe by hands, or like be so close, and then at the last second like pull them by, and it just turns into like the same thing that defensive guys do. So I think like a little bit of it is like the nature of football and how like complex it is, but at the same time like a little bit of everything. It's just being able to realize like, wow, like the game is the game, and like you just have to love the game.
Who's the guy you not look up to, but somebody you like admire their game in college?
Their college game?
Yeah, because for instance, Deuces, I think both of us was Latu from UCLA as a defensive end.
Yeah.
Always liked him.
Yeah.
There's a couple that I can name, but that's the one that I know Deuce and I both were like, dude, I love his game.
Yeah, the kid that just got drafted this year.
Yeah, yeah.
He dogged on us.
Yeah, he dogged us too.
He was
He's that
crazy.
dude.
I think coming out of college last year or the year before that, Jordan Addison, he went to USC when I was a junior, I want to say.
In high school.
Yeah. So seeing him, he won the Blitnikoff his sophomore year.
Okay.
So he was a decorated wide receiver, but just how complete he was and just how savvy he was at the line of scrimmage and being able to get open, I think that was like crazy. But last year, I'd have to say I watched a lot of the Malik Neighbors kid from LSU.
Yeah,
he was really savvy in every aspect as far as like a complete receiver, strong hands, goes up and gets the ball fast. So I think kind of like stealing a little bit of his stuff and what he does is something I did, and as well for a lot of receivers in college, because it's not like you don't watch those games on Saturday before you play and after you play. So it's just like seeing everybody is just like, man, like if they can do it, man.
Why can't I do it?
I'm gonna do the same thing.
So what makes a complete receiver? Like you use that. I think I know like running routes, hands, like how you get open. But like coming from somebody who does this, what's a complete receiver?
I'd have to say a complete receiver, you have to have good hands, more consistent hands than anything. Strong hands, those are kind of included. Be able to block, perimeter blocking, because that is no block, no rock. Everybody knows that.
I've never heard that. I'm a defensive guy, man.
That's
no block, no rock. I like that.
That's the thing. One of our coaches says, Coach Simmons, he said, "No blocky, no rocky." So that's a little joke we say, but so good hands, perimeter blocking, just knows the offense, like can be high flexible, IQ. Like exactly high IQ. Know what the defenses are running, and just being able to run semi-good routes. You don't even need to be able to run great routes, because if you are in a great offense, like a lot of people are in college, you are always going to have great coaches with great concepts. So as long as you can be in a spot when you need to be, I think everything else will fall in line.
Okay. So just be where you're supposed to be.
Exactly.
And make plays. Yeah, I got that. Okay. All right, cool.
Yes, sir.
Now, okay, we're going to wrap it up a little bit now. I always like to end it, especially when I talk to athletes. You go back and you can talk to a young Jakobi as a junior in high school. What advice are you going to give him?
Junior in high school, I'd just be like, man, like just love the game and realize like high school does not last forever. So enjoy that moment with the people around you, and because some of those people will never play football again. So it's just like you got to really respect the fact that like this is a game, but it's something that like doesn't last forever, and so at some point I will not be able to play football anymore. So it's just like realizing like, although you want to be the greatest football player ever, like you have to realize like there's things that matter more than football. There's things that like have to be prioritized over football, and one of those things is being a great young man. And I think like, although I was a great young man growing up, and I think like I took every relationship and try to be the best person that I could and be as friendly and take everybody under my wing and around me on my team. It was just like my junior year, I felt like it was more like, man, I need offers. Like I need to propel myself to get forward. I think I would just have told myself like, man, like it'll all happen. Just have fun and like just relax. Just like be able to like realize like you're in high school and like, man, like although you need to prepare, you need to realize like this does not last forever, and you need to enjoy it and hug your mom a lot more.
Yeah. You need to make sure you tell that to dudes. Make sure you hug your mom and call your dad sometimes.
Exactly.
But that's funny because just to kind of piggyback on that real quick. Our last game, when he was at Hamilton, and we played Saguaro in the right before the championship game. Yeah. And I remember we lost that game, and afterwards there was like so much anger coming from parents who felt like their kids should have played more, and coaches yelling at parents, and this was all like out back. And I remember getting in between a coach and a dad, and I'm like, dude, don't do this. This is a terrible look. There's that team right there looking at us. But it hits different when that's your kid's last opportunity.
Right.
And you feel like he got screwed, whereas Deuce was crying, but I'm like, dude, you got more football. And it was like he kind of was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the main things that kids need to do when they're in school. Enjoy your time there.
Right.
You know, if you're playing hard and you're dedicated and the grades, all those offers will come. Just focus on football, enjoy yourself, and have fun.
Literally.
Yeah, bro. I appreciate it, man. It's
I
been a lot
appreciate
to
you
me,
having
man.
me.
I appreciate coming
I
on.
appreciate you. I definitely was molded at a young age by you, and I think just realizing that, like just being surrounded by you and having somebody like, because you were an NFL veteran, and just
I was Coach Russell, bro. I'm gonna tell you, man.
I
Y'all were
remember
just little knuckleheads running around.
the man cave that you had at your house.
Oh yeah,
was-
where's the picture? Did you see the picture I sent you with you and Deuce?
I have. It
I
right
forgot
here.
to talk about that, man. Look, you got to look that up and see if you can
Yeah.
show it to the camera. You were over at my house, and y'all were both sitting at the table eating pizza, Gatorade. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's how far we go back.
Literally.
All right, brother. I appreciate it,
I
man. Thanks a
appreciate
lot,
you
man.
having me.
Thanks for tuning in to The Route. Don't forget to subscribe and connect with us on socials for exclusive updates. We'll see you next week.